Hello, Vicky Drake here, and I'm doing this post in the group because for whatever reason when I tried to go live on my page there just wasn't an option, and I've tried it from the laptop and the phone and everything and I couldn't do it, so I'll have to just share this on my page later and do it live here. So I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. I'm Vicky Drake. I'm a transformational life coach and spiritual teacher, and I help women to discover who they really are, to help them tap into their true self, and then to share their message and gifts with the world. And I wanted to share today why I do what I do, because it's a really big part of my story and not something that is so easy to share. So I wanted to really go through and just explain why it is I do what I do. And there was two goals I had when I was young. One of them was I always wanted to help other people. I always wanted to make a difference and to inspire people. I had this big dream of, being on stage and inspiring thousands of people. And the other was to be a mum. It's all I ever wanted. I was kind of broody the second I came out of the birth canal. I just wanted to be a mum. And I remember in my early 20s saying to people, I want to be an inspirational speaker. I even googled it and had a little look into what it takes, and I was like, well, first of all, it takes an inspiring story, which I didn't have. And of course the voice in my head was going, who the hell are you to do that? You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, okay, we'll just leave that one for the future. And then of course to be a mum, and hi to those that are watching live, at 29 I got that dream and I became a mum, and I absolutely loved it. I got a baby girl, which was what I'd always wanted, and being a mum was just the best thing in the world to me. Absolutely was. And as crazy as it sounds, I remember like when the first 6 weeks when she would wake up through the night, and kind of one night she woke up and it was like, yes, I got to play mum, and I changed her nappy, and about half an hour later she had a poo. So she woke up again and I was like, yay, hi Angela. I was like, yay, I get to do it again. I just absolutely put my heart and soul into being a mum. It was everything I ever wanted, and I made the decision then, partly out of necessity as well, but I knew that when she got to school in 5 years' time, I needed to be there to pick her up. So at the time I was working a corporate job full time, and I thought, well, I can't go back to that. I need to have something to be there. I wanted to be, full on mum, be there as much as I could. So what I did when I went back to work, I ended up retraining as an antenatal teacher. So I spent a few years working part-time in my corporate job, and then setting up a business as well. So anytime my daughter was in bed, I would get the laptop out and I would work. And when she was almost 2, we decided we wanted another. And this is when things started to really change. My first pregnancy wasn't great, and soon into my second pregnancy I realised it was going to be the same. I was extremely sickly. It was kind of a motion sickness, and my energy just dropped. I wasn't sleeping, and then of course I was working 3 days a week. I was running a business, so I was working once my daughter was in bed. I was working till 10 o'clock on the laptop every night. I was doing evening classes and weekends when my husband was home to be with my little girl. But my almost 2-year-old at the time was a very energetic 2-year-old, to say the least. So anytime I was with her, I literally didn't stop. I didn't get to sit down. So I pushed myself, and I pushed and pushed and pushed. And the more I pushed to get this business up and running, and to be all in with my daughter, and to do my best in my day job, I just started to feel like I was failing at everything. I was literally exhausted is an understatement, but I just kept on saying, I'm fine. And if people tried to help, I was like, no, I don't need, I'm fine. And it started to become a real struggle. But not that I admitted that at the time, and of course I was my own worst critic, and I just felt like I wasn't doing enough, and I wasn't good enough, and no matter what I did, it wasn't enough. And then after I had a little girl in June 2012, after she was born, I just kind of didn't bounce back up, and to make matters worse, she had silent reflux, so she literally didn't sleep. I could literally count in minutes the sleep I would get on a night, not hours, and I soon started to plummet. I went from being happy, bubbly, loving motherhood to like, holy shit, I just wasn't coping well. Who would? When you're counting the minutes of sleep that you've had at night, I really started to struggle. And I remember it was November 2012. My eldest was almost 3 and my youngest was 5 months old. And I remember one day I was exhausted and overwhelmed to the point of complete and utter I was wiped out, And one day I remember sitting down and just starting to cry and starting to shake. I was literally, like, my body was just involuntarily shaken. I couldn't stop it, and I thought, fuck, I'm actually heading for a nervous breakdown. I'm actually gonna have a breakdown. That's what it felt like. I didn't, but that's what it felt like. I suppose I did in a sense, but not like a full nervous breakdown. And I remember in that moment crying and shaking, and my girls were in the room, they were playing, but I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is not what life is meant to be. This is not. And in fairness, I was angry. I was angry at God or the universe or whatever's out there for putting me through this, for making this happen to me. And at the time when I should have been at my greatest, I was angry. But I just remember, I think that was probably the lowest point of my life. I literally was rock bottom. And I remember sitting and praying. And at the time I'd lost all faith. I didn't believe in anything. I was literally on my own. And I remember I prayed and I just said, God, the universe, whatever's out there, if you're there, please, 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 please help me. Please help me to change my life. This is not what I came here for. This is not what life's meant to be. This is supposed to be the best time of my life, and I can't even cope with 2 young children. And I'd literally lost all sense of who I was. I used to be very spiritual, and I had this deep faith and this vision for my future and all these goals and dreams, and I used to love it, to inspire people. And suddenly I lost all identity. I didn't know who the hell I was. I'd become this different person. Like I said, I felt like I was failing at everything. I judged myself like there was no tomorrow. Literally every thought was negative towards myself. And no matter what I did, it was never good enough. And it was a really, really dark time. And I don't want to kind of just brush past the next few years and say it was easy, because it wasn't. It was a difficult journey. But I said to God or the universe that day, if I can get through this, if you will help me to get through this, I promise, and I promise that I will help other people who are struggling too. Because I couldn't bear the thought that anybody else would struggle. I mean, not everyone will struggle to that degree, but would struggle in any way, shape or form. It really, really got to me, and I just promised that that's what I would do. So yeah, the next few years, like I say, it was no easy journey by far. But I learned slowly but surely to start to look after myself. To start, probably the most difficult one was to ask for help. I started to be compassionate towards myself. Like, that was a game changer. And again, it was slow but surely. But I started to be aware of the thoughts and not letting them control me, but me starting to take control of them. So I really started to be aware of who I was and step into myself. I started to question, who am I? Yes, at some points it was kind of like, who am I to do this or who am I to do that? But other times it was like, this isn't who I am. I knew that that wasn't who I really was and what life was about. So it was like, well, so who am I? What is possible for my future? And I allowed myself to question it. And then gradually I started to find the answers. And what I found really, really surprised me, because a lot of the weaknesses that I thought I had, I started to realise that they were actually strengths. And I started to use them as strengths and to really start to be me and not who everybody else thought I was. I was a chronic people pleaser, a complete perfectionist. I worried constantly about other people. Like, even though my own health was a fucking mess and I was like rock bottom, I was constantly worried about family members, friends, and I felt like it was up to me to kind of help them. And it's crazy because I would never ask for help myself, yet I thought I had to help everybody else. And yeah, like I said, the judgment was probably the worst thing of all. So I began to be aware of this and then to look into who I really was. I did some really deep soul searching. And what I discovered, well, literally changed my life. And as I started to feel a bit better, so it was 2014, I said, right, okay, I made a promise. I ain't fixed yet, but I'm getting there, and I can see what I've done is helping. So as I promised, I'm going to help others. And I started a blog. It was March 2014. And I remember that first blog I wrote. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Oh my God. And I was terrified, and I didn't post it. And a few days later, my stepmom rang just out of the blue. And I told her about this blog, and I actually read it to her, and she went, post it, just do it, it's amazing, post it. And I put it on my actual personal Facebook page, and I was like, oh my God, my mom's going to read it, my dad's going to read it, everybody's going to read it. Actually, my dad would love it. But I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, my uncles, oh my God, all the people I went to school with, oh my God, I was terrified. So I posted it and I got amazing comments, people liked it, and I was like, holy shit. And some people even said they wanted more. I was like, whoa. And so the blogging journey began, and I started to inspire and help other people through my words. And 3 years later, people, thank you, Angela, saying that blog helped us so much. Yeah, my third blog was basically sharing this story about my depression and how difficult it was. And I still now, what are we on, 4 years later, I still get people tell me, I've had people tell me in the street, and I've had people tell me by email and message that that blog changed their life. And that was really difficult for me, and that's why I'm kind of sharing it today, because I'm hoping that by sharing my message, and it's not easy, I felt sick all morning, and like when all the technology wasn't working, I was like, oh fuck it, doesn't matter, just don't bother. And I thought, no, suck it up, just get on with it, because I know that it helps. So where was I do go off on little tangents. Yeah, so I started to write. I was practicing mindfulness myself, and then I started to teach it. And again, I got some fabulous feedback from women who attended my mindfulness retreats. And then I thought, you know what, I want to get out there in a big way. I suddenly realised that I had found my story. I'd always wanted to have an inspirational story. And of course, when I was rock bottom, I remember thinking I had no vision anymore. And I remember thinking, well, who the fuck am I now to inspire anybody? How can I ever inspire anybody again when I'm literally, I can't even cope. I'm like a mess on the floor. But what I realise now is that it's not our good points and our light that inspire people, it's our dark. It's how we got from that dark into our light, and it's who we grew into and how we overcome those challenges. So whilst I'm very grateful for what happened, I never want to go there again, and I don't want anybody else to have to go through that neither. So I'm grateful because it was literally when I hit rock bottom that allowed me to grow into who I wanted to be. So I needed to go through that. It took me really basically to fall apart in order for me to put myself back together and to realise who I was. And had I not have gone through that, I would have constantly listened to that doubt and that fear. But because I've made a promise to the universe that day that I would step up and I would help people. Sorry, I'm trying to read comments and I'm not very good at it, especially when I don't have my glasses on. Thank you, Lynn. Because I'd made the promise that day, I knew that I had to step up and I had to help. And that's what I've been doing. So I've been coaching as well now for a couple of years, and I absolutely love the work, and it completely changes the lives of those who I work with, and it gives me such deep satisfaction. It's that feeling that I've always wanted, that I know that I'm here for a reason and that I'm living it. And what I'd like to do now is to kind of take that to a whole new level. I've always kind of hid a little bit in my Facebook group and done posts, and yes, I'm posting this in my Facebook group now purely because the bloody technology wouldn't allow me to do it elsewhere, but I will be sharing this because I want to get out there to more and to help more people. So I'm going to be, well, once I figure out how to do it, I'm going to be going live more often on my Facebook page. So please, if you've liked anything you've heard today, or if you just want to make any changes in your life and you don't know where to start, just like my Facebook page. And if you go, when you've liked it, and you go to the following button, if you click that, it'll give you your notification settings, and what you can do is you can choose to get notifications when I'm live. So you get, it doesn't mean you have to always watch them live, but at least you know I've been live and you can go back in your own time and watch them. And also, if any of what I've said to you has resonated, and if you need to change your life in any way, shape or form, and you feel like you've got this vision, and you might have lost that vision at the moment, depending where you are. Like when I was in my deep dark place, I'd lost that vision. I didn't know what I wanted anymore, and I knew what I wanted, I suppose, but I didn't believe it was possible. I felt like it was all completely gone now. But if you have that vision, you have this desire to make a difference in the world, but you've lost touch with who you really are, and you can't see how you can get from where you are to where you want to be, then please, I'd love to speak with you. If you go to connectwithvicky.com, Vicky spelled V-I-C-K-Y, connectwithvicky.com, you can book a session. It just says Rebellious Soul Session, and it's just a chance for me and you to sit and chat and see if I can help you in any way, shape or form. So follow my Facebook page if you haven't already, and if you'd like to have a chat, go to connectwithvicky.com and we'll talk it through. Thank you so much for listening, and for those that are live, thank you very much. See you later. Love you. Bye.